Are you ready for us? Okay, awesome. Hey, we are back on the... Why do I always do the hey?
You do. It's fun.
I do. It's my thing. Hey, we're back on the Mutiny Mom podcast. Camille, before we get started, have you seen the guys' new podcast that they started?
I saw the clip.
Did you?
It's going to be great.
It's going to be so good.
They are unhinged.
Yes. 3 beans in a pod?
Yeah.
Is that what?
Yep.
It's so funny.
It is funny. I actually sent the prompts to Eric on some questions to talk about. So, like, the whole should you be able to work on your tractor?
Yeah.
Like, that came from me.
Okay.
And it was funny because I saw the clip
now.
and I was like, yeah, I mean, they don't really operate in equipment. Precision Brad does. So I laughed. I was like,
when Patrick
maybe
was
I
like,
should have thought of a different question.
facts are optional. That's what, and on our podcast, facts are not optional.
I'm not coming unless we talk facts.
No.
Or at least what we know to this day.
It's going to be funny, though, to do, like, comparisons between the two podcasts because...
like, I don't know that there is a
what we call unhinged on the mom podcast is, like, you know, probably...
Just a typical...
Yeah, it's such a mom
my
unhinged, you know?
Yeah. It's good, though. It's good.
So if you're not following, the guys started their podcast. It's going to be so good. We're so glad to be back. So, Camille, how are you? Tell the people that are listening. So, Camille, not only is she a busy mom and a busy national agronomist for Mutiny, she's also running the planter wide open. So, tell us what's going on at your farm.
Well, today is April the 14th, and it's been crazy, Kirby. Across the country, really, because you know we do cover the whole country. So I'm talking to farmers all across the country. We are really in most of the United States. We're reaching a very extreme drought right now. So here where we are in Kentucky, it's getting very dry, but it's still we can find moisture. So we're planting 2.5 inches deep corn to get in the moisture, 2 inches deep on the beans, because if you don't, I mean, they're not going to germinate because there's no moisture. So we've been running wide open.
Y'all have 3 planters.
3 planters. They're all 3 go. Mine's sitting and waiting for me. I know I got so much hate for saying that, but I'm so proud of myself for saying it. I was talking to a large grower in West Tennessee the other day, and he farms about double what I do. And we were on the phone about 6 p.m., and he said, I'm about to shut the planter down and head to my son's t-ball game. And I clapped. I was like, I'm so proud of you. And I actually get a little bit goosebumps when I talk about this because these kids are growing up so fast. And it's not like you don't just park and shut the entire operation down.
Sure.
I mean, if you're a very small grower, you might. But like on our farm, the show is going on. Camille's going home and the show continues.
For sure. And it's also like you knew that was coming up, let's say, on a Thursday. And so on Monday and Tuesday, you were already planning for it. That's the other part.
I worked late leading up to that.
Yes. And so I love the mentality of with discipline is freedom. And so you practiced a lot of discipline and work ethic and all the things. That's the other part. That's why I like social media clips are really, really silly is because 20 seconds it's not the full picture. And so, but to your point though, the people that know, they know how it all happens. And I think there's tunnel vision of like what's right here and all the things I have to get done. But then there's also like, sometimes we have to say, no, when I'm 80, what will I have regretted doing and not regretted? And then like,
for sure,
let's go do the 80-year-old rocking chair wisdom stuff. So
I thought
it was great.
We do try to plan on our farm, like on a good day, which just doesn't happen every day, but the planters are rolling at 7 to 7 roughly if we can get there. So, you know, we shut the planter down at 7. It might not even be dark yet when we shut down. Right when it gets dark, we're shutting down. We try to prepare for the next morning ahead of the morning and we go home. You know, I mean, if you can plant for 12 hours, I mean, you're getting a lot done. So anyways, we are running, it's again, April 14th and we feel very behind. Which is abnormal.
Think about last year. Comparison.
Typically, you might start like March 28th in this part of the world.
Yep.
I mean, that's considered extremely early. There are a lot of people right here that had their entire corn crop planted or very close to by the first week of April.
Yeah. It's been wide open.
It's been crazy. We are reaching more of a drought, so we do need some rain across most of the United States. So we need a good easy rain. We don't need flooding rains that we've been getting. And that's happened across the country. We've seen these big floods happening. So we need a nice gentle rain. They're saying the trends, if you keep up with all the ag forecasting, they're saying it's looking already like 2012 right now. So
it feels like it. Yeah,
it does, which I was still in college in 2012. But anyways, it's going well. So I think people are rocking and rolling. We are getting some really fun pictures already.
Yeah, so talk about that. What are you seeing so far? We know what's going on kind of across the U.S. from a weather perspective, but what are you seeing so far? What's working, what's not working? Particularly, people watch this because they want to know what's going on with Mutiny stuff and what's working. Yeah. So talk to me about that.
So I've got an I Heart Litter shirt on.
Yeah.
Litter's been a really big deal.
Yep.
Big deal.
Why is that? Tell us more.
So we're putting liquid litter. The goal is to put it right next to that seed. So we want it in furrow. And really the goal is to get this biology growing around that root zone really, really quickly. And it's so cool. Some of these pictures when we do root digs early season, I mean, the corn plant might be at VE, just coming out of the ground. And you dig up the roots and you just see this mass difference in that radical and seminal root system. They're bigger, they're hairier, they're longer, and all of that sets us up for a really good season. And we talked about that a little bit on the previous episode, but when we can build this bigger plant by V6, a lot has to go wrong for us to not yield well. But when we have the small plant at V6, you've got to get so many things right, and weather is uncontrollable, and so I want to help guys build this bigger, more consistent plant early season and get more nutrients into the plant. So we're getting pictures. We're going to show some of these on the screen. I got this picture yesterday from North Carolina.
Okay.
It was really, really visual. So you look above ground, you don't see too much of a difference yet because it is very early, but this below ground root mass, holy smokes.
It's like the iceberg mentality, right? You're only seeing like right now a small percent, but what's going on is underground, and that's what matters.
Yeah. And this was compared. So this was liquid litter paired with moat. That's a typical combo. We love that combination. Moat is a product that was created to be kind of a universal starter. So it's got 2 PGPs. It's got a really hefty rate of zinc. It's got humic. It's got fulvic. Fantastic product to put with liquid litter. So this grower put those 2 products in furrow, compared it to 318-18 with zinc, which is another really great starter.
Program.
Yeah. We got some hate last season. Again, like we see the negative comments, and honestly, you just got to brush them off because we know what we're doing, and we're trying to help growers succeed. And so sometimes people don't have a grower standard, so they're comparing it to an untreated. That's fair, but this guy, he was comparing it to his standard, which is a great program. So we're never dissing anyone else's program, but we are learning when we can focus more on biology in the furrow, maybe take out the synthetic altogether and move that out to the 2x2, or come back in side dress or wide drop or whatever your logistics on your farm looks like. When we can focus only on biology in that furrow, good things are happening, and we're seeing it across the country.
Yeah, I love it. You have also talked about some of the impact of, like some of our humics, go time. Talk to me a little bit else. What else is working? What else have you seen so far? I know we're just, planters are just now rolling, but any other thoughts of what's working?
So I got these 2 pictures. We'll pop these up on the screen. A grower here close to us that is, again, their program, they had been running zinc and some synthetic in furrow. We had them use a gallon of humic with zinc. In furrow. Very simple.
Yeah.
So this guy, he typically, what we'll do, I think a lot of people do this just to make the bugs are worked out on your planter. You start planting with no liquid. Make sure everything's operating well, because we've learned, like, you fill all the way up with litter and then stuff starts squirting out of places it shouldn't be, and you're covered in it, or you're wasting a lot of money.
Yeah.
So make sure the kinks are worked out and then get going. So this farmer, they started off no liquid, and then everything was working well. The next time they filled up, they added the 1 gallon of Active HL, so that's our humic with a little bit of fulvic in it, with the zinc. Their corn came up a day and a half before.
That's a big deal.
Humic acid.
That's a big deal.
Zinc.
And that's not a super expensive program. Like that, we're not talking about this that they did. I mean, that's a pretty great basic starter program.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're just seeing when we talk about humic acid, fulvic acids, we're all learning. Nobody in this space has this mastered. Nobody. So don't let anybody fool you here, but we are learning with the humics, especially at the planter. It's helping to buffer salt. It's helping to hold nutrition longer. It's synergizing with the biology in the soil profile already. It's getting that biology going for us. So we've seen and we've learned that mycorrhizal fungi help get phosphorus into the plant. Yeah. It's been proven. So if we can get that biology stimulated with humic at the planter, man.
I know this is your baby, so you get a moment to brag on your baby. Talk to me about Modify. We've seen some really great results from burn down programs so far this year. So tell us a little bit more.
So we've got a video actually from North Florida, and this was really, I got really giddy about this.
Of course you did.
So I studied herbicides in school. I know. So I like to talk about herbicides. We don't sell herbicides at Mutiny Crop Performance, but now that I don't work for a chemistry company, and it is my background, I love to still focus on that. So we get this video, and this guy had used the same herbicide program, and he had used a competitor water conditioning product. It's a great product. Yeah. Nothing's wrong with the product. I tested it in a previous role that I had and saw good results with it. So this guy, he did one fill up with that water conditioning product, emptied out. The next fill up, he used Modify. And sedge was a really big issue on this farm. So if you're not familiar with nut sedge, it kind of looks like a grass. It has a triangular stem. It's very, very waxy. So it's hard to kill, and it has rhizomes underground. So it's a difficult to control weed, especially in some of these sandy soils in Florida, Georgia area. You could see to the line, Kirby.
Yeah.
Where he used Modify.
It's the most visual of, I have it saved to my phone just to
Yeah. And you're not always going to see this, okay?
No, that's right.
We've used it for a lot of years. We've left checks. We'll sometimes see it. We sometimes won't. However, the insurance that your products are going to work well, it makes me sleep better at night. And I get on this roll again with herbicides. Some of these people that are in the industry, I think their intentions are good, but maybe we're not seeing a good kill at 32 ounces. So they're suggesting we need to bump it up to that higher rate. That's a lot more money on the farm. Right. So I got my farm hat on always. If I can condition my water properly, use what I need to do, whether it's AMS, whether it's a good surfactant, Modify, I think we can get this job done a lot cheaper. Right. So it's important to just ask questions. What's affected by bad water? And I mean bad, but high pH, hard water, a lot of cations in the water. Know what you're doing. It's chemistry. And a lot of us didn't go to school and study chemistry, and that's okay. Sure. But the more we know, the more we can empower ourselves on the farm to make good decisions.
And that's the great part about Modify, is that you don't have to be a chemist for it to be, it's an easy button product. That's why we love it, is it does the hard work of figuring out pH by pressing the easy button. So we'll keep sharing videos, pictures all throughout the season of this is what's working, and here are the points of the growing season that it is. So let's kind of change directions here. We talked about the planting season so far. We've talked about the weather and patterns. We talked about all that. Now we're looking out. You talked about this, of the reason that you can park the planter and go to the kids' game, because you did what? You planned and prepared. Yeah. So let's get our heads wrapped around on your farm, but also as you talk to growers all across the country, how are you preparing and planning for these next passes or these next key stages of the growing season? Talk to us about that.
It's so easy, Kirby. As you were talking, I was just thinking, are my ducks really in a row for
we're doing our professional podcast mode, and then we're like, but for real,
we gotta rush to the farm and make sure.
Yeah, we're like, the ducks they're all swimming.
They're floating.
They're
some
floating.
Of them are upside down.
They're floating.
Okay, so this is a real thing though. So and if you're in some of these higher yield groups, they talk about this a lot. Sometimes the most important job is not sitting in the planter. It's walking behind the planter, right? Making sure everything's going right. Looking at emergence, doing flag tests. when you're in that planter all the time, you miss a lot of that. Like we've planted the last 10 days. We've been in these planters for 12, 15 hours a day. It's hard to get out and see the progress that you've made. So one thing that I encourage people to do is get out, look at what you started, that first field, that second field. Go and look and see what's happening early. That can help you plan better for the in season. But also, like I said, we've all been stuck in these tractors. We're going to blink our eyes. It's side dress time. It's post-herbicide pass time. You're going to get out of the planter and have to jump right into the next thing. So making sure you have everything that you need is really crucial, because if it's not sitting at your shop and it's not there ready, the likelihood that you're going to condition your water if it's not ready and sitting there, if it's go time, it's go time. No pun intended.
Brunch. But you're right. If you can't just, here's my modify, let's go.
Right. Yeah. So we got to think right now about.
So call us at Mutiny Crop Performance, and we would be glad, for real. Like that's sometimes the value of the planning conversation of like, I'm going into the herbicide pass. I need to, like, we have to think far enough in advance, just the logistics to have the product of what we need. Everybody is trying to be so mindful, rightfully so, of every expense on the farm. And so everybody's making game time decisions. We get that. We understand that. At the same time, we don't want to look up, to your point, and not have what we need, because we're trying to do everything game time.
And this is a little plug for Hunter at the warehouse. I mean, he is so good about getting products staged and out the door. But when we are based out of Mayfield, Kentucky, and we covered the whole country, sometimes it takes 3 to 7 days to get something to you. It might even take 10 in some situations. So you have to think ahead a little bit. But the post-herbicide pass, I'm modifying the water for sure. So especially in soybeans, when we're using the glyphosates and the glufosinate and the dicambas and the 2,4-Ds, clethodim, very important. Very, very, very important. So I'm going to make sure I have that ready to go. Revival. That's a big one. So I tested this last year on my farm. I've got a picture that we can show Kirby. This was to the line. You could see it. So Revival is a product. I talked about Moat earlier. This is like the
cousin
or son.
Yeah,
it's in the family.
We're from Kentucky. So. Watch the comments. Be like, it's all the same for you all.
It's a similar product. However, this is one we position on. We do a lot of specialty crop stuff with Revival. We do post-herbicide timing. So 1 quart of this product, you put it with your herbicide. It helps overcome the herbicide hangover. So even if your crop's tolerant. So we're spraying, let's say we're spraying Liberty on Liberty-tolerant soybeans. The plant, even though it's tolerant, has to metabolize it before it can continue growing. So the plant will pause its growing, do its thing, metabolize the herbicide, and then it gets back to doing its thing. When we can get through that process faster, we have seen that it correlates directly to yield. So we want to get through that hangover as fast as we can. So again, the 2PGPs, we're getting some humic, some fulvic. Fantastic product to put with the herbicide pass. I've already got it sitting in my shop ready to go. So those are 2 for sure. Vismax is a new one for us. We talked about this on
our last episode.
So it is a biofungicide that again goes with that post-herbicide pass. It triggers the plant into a immune reaction. So it puts its defense mode on so that when diseases, insect pressure, crop stress in general happens, the plant doesn't have to put as much energy into defense, and it can put more energy into yield.
And as that plant grows, so we're talking about a V2, V3 timing. So as that plant grows and matures, what continues to happen with that application?
This reaction continues to occur. So it stays in this plant the entire rest of the season. It's cool.
Yeah. No, we're so excited and very, very economical price point to be able to get that protection. I think about especially, Camille, for folks that are in the heavy tar spot regions or concerns for tar spot. This is such a great part of their plan to incorporate in. It's great for every grower, but most especially those guys, because every year when they're making their plans for plant health when it comes to tar spot, this is a big deal.
Yeah, it is. And tar spot has a I can't clear my throat.
It's all right. We're getting old now.
I don't know if you can smell me from where you sit.
I cannot, but proceed.
I was loading liquid litter yesterday.
You sent me that video.
Yeah, and I covered myself in it, and my shoes got some on it, and I got home at 10 o'clock last night. So it is what it is. But
I must smell like it too, because I don't. Yeah.
It doesn't come off. I mean, if you use a product called Mutiny liquid litter and it didn't smell really bad, I would be concerned that it didn't do what it was supposed to do. Yeah. So this stuff,
it's the real deal.
It's good. I mean, I kind of gotten used to it by now. But anyways, liquid litter, that's one that can go with the post-herbicide pass. There's a lot of products. We have a lot of flexibility. So all of those are kind of just standard operating procedures. So if we were going to put an SOP for what's going to happen in season, I love all of those. But now we've got to talk through tissue sampling.
Yeah. So talk about that. We are just a real quick recap of why we believe in tissue testing at Mutiny, how we think about it, how we also like train our interns and our dealers and ourselves around when to pull, etc. So talk through that like overall as far as our philosophy, and then just some best practices.
Sure. So this season we will have 6 interns across the country. This is our second year. So we did this last season. We had a lot of good success. We pulled over 4,000 tissue samples last season. It was really cool to get that kind of information back,
for sure,
as the nerd that I am, and sift through and help guys make decisions. This is a big deal. We're strapped for cash this year. It is so easy to look through whoever's data. It could be, whatever co-op's looking at data. It could be a seed company, and say, okay, boron, it's proven with the fungicide pass. I'm going to put boron on all of my acres with my fungicide. If you're not limiting a boron, Kirby, it's never going to give you a return.
That's right.
So
until it's the most limiting
thing. Yeah. Yes. And it could be low, but if something else is lower and you don't fix that first, again, I don't think you're going to see that return. And what we're learning too, there's a balance. So the way that we look at tissue testing is different from your standard tissue sample. We use a program called MyPass, and we use other programs as well, but this is a company that is doing it differently. So they are looking at the nutrients and the balance and the ratios and weather station data.
Right.
All of these things come into play to help you make a better decision. So we talked about earlier the drought conditions across a lot of the United States. When it is super hot and dry out, you're not going to get a good read on a tissue sample.
Right.
I think I've said this before on this podcast, but it would be like going and eating 2 donuts and then going and getting your blood work done. The data is not going to be valuable. It's going to be very skewed, and you are not going to be able to make a good decision on what your body actually needs. So same thing with tissue sampling. We want to pull when conditions are good. So we want to ideally have about 60% moisture. That means 1 day too early to plant. And I know some of you may get in the field a little before you should. You know what I'm talking about. So you might still plant, but it is really, that's the perfect moisture. Also, we want to have good sunny conditions for a couple days leading up to, because if you have cloudy weather for 2 to 3 days, you go out and pull, that plant hasn't been able to actively move nutrients through itself very well. So we want to make sure conditions are good. So we don't tell people and we don't train our interns to go out every morning at 8 a.m. That would not always give us good information back. So we go 3 times during the corn season and at least twice, maybe 3 times in the soybean season when conditions are good, when we are in yield determining growth stages. So we know in corn what stages we're determining number around, what stages we're determining length. When we start to get into reproductive time, we're going to go out during some of those key growth stages when conditions are good, and we're going to pull the tissue sample, get the information. And Kirby, we may not react. We may, like if I'm working with you on your farm, we may pull tissue samples and say, okay, we want to look for the trend on your farm so that we can plan better for 2027.
Which is an exact scenario. That was exactly what we did in so many cases.
Yeah, tell me what you've changed, Kirby, this year from what you learned last season.
Yeah, and we were doing more than just row crops on our farm, but we learned about some boron deficiencies. We learned about and I think there's also a really cool part. This is what I encourage growers to do, is to pick a higher productive field and then maybe like your tougher acre, because then you learn differences about the two. So it won't be like a blanketed, across every, actually sometimes it is, right? So like Molly across like our county and that was the most limiting across every acre. And so you can do blanketed approaches, but at the same time, when you do higher productivity, lower productivity, then you can make some of those economical decisions of choosing, okay, this is how we move the needle here versus how we, will impact the bottom line. Now, I do think this is something I hear all the time too, Camille, is, well, I hear how you all train your interns, and like a tissue test is just a blip in time on one plant in one field. And yes, that is correct. The same could be true. I love your example of getting blood work done, right?
Yeah.
So when we get to the game changer here in a little bit, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more.
Okay.
But I also think the same is true for blood work. Like, people will be like, oh, well, you get the results back, and if there's an outlier, they'll just say, well, it was an outlier. But unless you're regularly doing it and finding trends, how do you know it's an outlier?
Yeah,
you actually could have the alarm sounded on something for your health, or just something small and micro that you tweak. Like if you're anemic and it's always an outlier, well, if it's an outlier every year for 5 straight years, but you only take it one time a year. So we get that feedback sometimes of, oh, but like, yes, you're right. You are absolutely right. However, tell us a better way, or even plan, going back to the plan of having routine data points to properly assess. And that's why we believe in the power of tissue testing.
Yeah. And is it perfect? No, it's not perfect.
Nothing is. Welcome to life.
Nothing is. Can you do SAP testing? Sure.
Yes.
You absolutely can. In fact, we would love to look at those results too.
Absolutely.
Can you pair your tissue data with your soil test data? Fantastic.
Please do.
That is even more helpful.
Yeah.
So we're not saying we've got it perfect and we've got it totally right, but I do think this program and what we're doing it's different from other programs. On my farm, I am a part of Total Acre too. So I utilize their system called YMS. It's a fantastic system too. There are a lot of tools in the toolbox that you can use. You kind of have to pick your lane and figure out what works for you on your farm and who you want to work with. This is a big deal too. Like you and I have both worked in the seed industry. A lot of the seed genetics anymore, they are great. You might win one plot and I might win the next. Back when we were competitors.
I won all the plots when we were competing with each other. I did not.
But ultimately, like if, let's say, genetics are in the same ballpark, the farmer is going to choose who brings them the most value, or they should anyways. They should choose who is helping them in season and preseason get a game plan together, execute the game plan, who's bringing you value. So if you can do this, somewhere else, you might be able to do it cheaper somewhere else. Are you getting enough value from the person you're working with? So I don't know. I think there's a lot of value in what we're doing.
For sure. And I think it's a part of that overall planning strategy that we're talking about. So if the goal is that everything goes as planned and it's perfect, then no, you should not do tissue testing. Actually, you probably shouldn't be in farming, and you shouldn't be a parent, and you should never exercise, and you probably right? Because I'm being a little facetious, but the point is that we get that feedback a lot around tissue testing, and I think sometimes we're like, yes. Also, that is a part of the overall plan, and then if you have 3 data points in a higher productive field and maybe your lower, tougher acre. And I don't know about you, but this winter on our farm, I know on your farm, having that to look back and analyze and track, like, okay, actually I look at yield and then I see this data, and I look at yield and I see what we did, and actually that really worked and that really didn't work. And then if you don't have it, what else are you to work with?
Sure.
Because there's a whole lot of, 120 days, 110 days in between there where you're like, I don't know.
Well, we talked about this last year on my farm. So Molly was ultimately the most limiting thing here really across the whole country. But here locally, we saw it pop up over and over and over and over. However, on Camille's farm, my most limiting factor was manganese. And so what is sitting in my shop right now waiting for my husband to put in the sprayer? It's totes of manganese.
Yep.
So we're going to implement what we found last year into the program in spots throughout our fields. We're going to do strips. We're going to leave untreated. We're going to tissue test it. We're going to see if what we learned from last season, because last season was a little bit crazy. It was wet early. It was hot and dry late here. So it was a little bit of a double whammy, but we're going to take into practice what we learned and see if that moves the needle.
But you're also going to have tissue tests this year in season as well to ground truth.
Yep.
As you go. So that's a big deal. We would love someone from our sales team, someone from our dealer network would love to have a conversation. Everything we've talked about, from the side dress application to the herbicide pass to the tissue testing. We want to sit down and figure out a plan that either reduces cost, increases yield, reduces or saves you time, or all of the above, right? Like that's the goal in this. So Camille, I know you got to get to a planner today.
I do.
And I know your dad's probably like calling me now.
We're actually,
at this point.
well, he's called me 3 times.
Okay. He's probably like, let her go, Kirby.
We're blowing out the planters this morning, and we're going to swap over to planting non-GMO. So non-GMO beans, non-GMO corn. This is my first year doing this. So
that's a change. Yeah.
I've helped people for years with their non-GMO acres, but we're doing it, implementing it on our farm. So that's where I'm heading.
It's exciting. Okay, before we all head out, I would love to hear from you. We always share a game changer. So what's been something lately that has been a game changer for you?
My mom.
Aww.
Actually, I kind of like teared up a little when I said that.
This is perfect. This should come out on Mother's Day.
It should. And maybe it will.
Yeah.
So I just talked about how busy I am. I also have 3 young kids, and I'm juggling a lot of balls right now. So I'm in the planner. I'm helping manage the farm. I do all the bookkeeping. I am a agronomist for Mutiny. I also am a dealer for Mutiny, and it's a lot, and I could not do any of it without my mother. So she, last night.
What's her grandma name?
It's Grandma.
Grandma. Okay.
Yeah, we're pretty classic.
I love it.
So I was getting a bulk load of liquid litter in yesterday, and it was supposed to come a little bit earlier. I found out it was going to be coming later, and I had a farmer waiting for me. And so my daughter had dance class at 5:45 last night, and about 1 p.m., I realized that I was not going to be able to get all this done. So I call my mother, my grandma, and I'm like, Mom, can you help me? And she just drops what she's doing always. And it makes me want to cry. And she helps me all the time, every day. I mean, last week was spring break. She had my kids, bless her soul, from 7:30 in the morning until we shut the planters down at night. For 7 days. So, the weekends we don't stop farming, and I'm helping on the farm. So she'll have my kids Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I mean, she helps me so much. So that's my game changer.
I love it. And it's a perfect shout out to make too on the Mutiny Mom podcast, because there's so many. I mean, we see it time and time again. When people think of farmer, sometimes it is like a guy, right? And then sometimes they're we know you're a great example. We know a lot of women farmers too, but also even if the spouse, many times the wife isn't like, let's say she's not planting the crop or spraying the crop or harvesting the crop, like it takes everybody.
Absolutely.
It takes everybody. The wheels come off, and that's not just the mom on the farm or the grandmas on the farm. That is everybody.
And and that's a job too. Like my sister-in-law. So my mom had a doctor's appointment to go to, and my sister-in-law kept her kids and my kids during that time. And that's a lot of work, and it's stressful too, because they're not getting a break. Just like the farmer that's sitting in the tractor is working long 12-hour days, the spouse at home is doing all that too.
That's right. It takes a team, and operating as a team, and there's no, that's what I love about farms, and this is the way it should be, is like, there's no hierarchy.
No.
It's like, no, it's just everybody working together to make the thing happen,
and just get it done.
You all couldn't have predicted this season of how unseasonably warm and how quick that, like you didn't know if it was going to rain all spring break. Right. Or if it was going to be perfect planting conditions, right? So
last year, farmers in this area literally just went to the beach for spring break because it was cold, it was wet, you couldn't do anything. Right. And this year, it's polar opposite.
And you can't plan for that. So what you can plan for is the best team possible. And just know we see you, farm moms.
We do.
that make it all happen, and grandmas and meemaws and mamaws. I always like to ask grandma names.
What's your mother's grandma?
My mom is meemaw. It was mamaw because I've always had a mamaw. Okay. And I was like, I want my kid. Yeah. But then the first grandchild then accidentally says meemaw instead of mamaw, and then it becomes a thing, you know? There's all those social media posts about
that's my dad. It was going to be grandpa, and it's papa because my oldest Leon was the first and he couldn't say grandpa.
Yes. No, I had we called her Nanny, but it was because somebody couldn't say granny.
Yes.
And so she became Nanny to everybody.
Blake's grandmother is the same.
Yeah. So I love how the first.
And then your husband's mother is called
Shusha.
And.
Yeah. So her name is Sharon. And couldn't say, this was actually like a nephew that couldn't say Sharon. And he would say Shusha instead. And so it just stuck. And so now, like, it was really cute because Cora was in kindergarten and, like, her friends, they would say, Cora, your sushi's here. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So I love grandma and grandpa names. And then the best part, Camille, is you pull up to the farm and they have it on a license plate. It'll be like Peepaw on the front of the truck. So I love it so much.
Yes, and then my husband's mother is Grammy, so I have to give her a shout out too. So
I love it.
Yes,
I love grandparents.
It's great.
Yeah, and I love how it'll be like they don't even flinch. Like they don't even question, you know, I was going to be grandma and now I'm Ninu or something. And then they put it on a license plate and a sweatshirt and a bag and they own it because they're grandparents. And that's what they do.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I love it.
This is great. I love doing this podcast. It's so much fun to talk agronomy, to talk mom, and to catch up with Kirby.
I know.
We live in the same town, and we all sometimes won't see each other until we do this podcast.
Right, or we have like a work trip. So, all right, we'll see you all next time. Thank you for following along the Mutiny Mom podcast.